what's up? This is Mixmaster Gazi, aka the baddest of all. Keep it locked, TV68 Ghana. Let's go.
Oh, Sabi who ana me diejina. Oh, Sabi who ana me yamashimi. Oh, Sabi who ana my tree breaker. Yo. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy KOBBY. You can call me Kobe or Wuta Kobe.
This is Magnum B's the super producer.
It's Kendi.
And you're watching TV68 inside the studio.
My name is Panji Anoff. I started recording music when I was 9 or 10 years old, and it has stayed with me as a passion, a hobby, a business, a pastime ever since. Being a sound engineer is not difficult if it is something that you have a passion for. So I would not recommend it to someone who is not interested in technical things and also is not passionate about music. But there are many people who study electronics or who do electrical engineering. There are many people who are musicians. There are many people who are just computer buffs. There are many avenues to go into becoming a sound engineer nowadays. And being a sound engineer is more accessible than it has been at any point in history because, of course, we have desktop recording and you can produce amazing results with very little in terms of equipment investment. This wasn't the case 40 years ago when I started. I almost became a sound engineer simply because I owned a recording device. So any device which could record audio to a decent standard was rare 40 years ago. Today, you can get that quality on your phone. So it is much, much easier to become a sound engineer. Start with your phone, experiment recording stuff, and from your phone, advance and progress.
Yeah, listen to the boy spit, boisterous. Flow the way Kramukomu say joystick. Rap your bank, I made you Helen a Troy chick. In case you never know, cause I hurry trade up and voice this. Represented the voiceless.
There are usually three very, very distinct phases to making a song. The first one is creating the song. The second one is recording the song. And then the third one is mixing the song. Out of those three, the first one requires the least amount of technical skill. Even a 3-year-old child can compose a song. Mamie, 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 and it's a song. It's a piece of music, which you can remember. So the first part of the process is, in many ways, is the most creative part of it. The second part, recording, requires a lot more technical skills. But mixing is the most technical of all. Recording is a very complicated matter because you are trying to get a good performance out of somebody. So how do you create the environment in which they will relax? How do you get them into the right state of mind? Is the song an angry song? Is it a love song? Is it a club song? Their mood should be the mood that you want the song to be, because a sad man can't sing a happy song. So you've got to be happy to sing a happy song. So either you've got to be in that state of mind or you've got to take yourself there. So a great artist can turn their emotions on and off to some extent. Or as soon as they start singing a song, they move into a certain zone where that song is comfortable. So in the studio, you've got to find that zone.
we dey dream, oh. The things we dey work for, fight for, live for, die for. Chalebi, yo. One house on the mountain, house in the city, and one house by the sea, yo. We dey travel around the world, meeting lots of girls. Listen how the fans just they scream, oh.
I've worked with so many musicians over the last 40 years. But let's say in the context of Ghanaian musicians in particular, I'm happy to have recorded Kofi Ganaba, Jeduble Ambole, Akable, and from the younger generation, you see, the older musicians taught me a lot because they have a huge amount of experience generally, but to a great extent, their understanding of arrangements and melodic structures were very advanced. I've always had an interest in Kologo music, so I worked with Atongo Zimba, then of course I worked with King Aisoba. I very much like rappers who sing. I guess some of the obvious examples is Okomfo Kwade, with whom I recorded, Samini the same, One Love, Mensa, also Yapono, because I think there is a level of communication which comes when you add melody to something as powerful as rap. Every artist is very different when it comes to recording. Some, their first take is their best. Some need to do it over and over and over and over again to get it right. Some need a lot of guidance and coaching. Some are very self-contained. But whatever the approach, it doesn't necessarily affect the result. There is somebody who performs with a lot of emotional energy. So even if there are technical inaccuracies in their delivery, the passion and the emotion will more than compensate for it. So you can never tell which performance will communicate with the audience. I try and capture the one which stirs the most emotions in myself. So it might not be the best technically, or it might not be the best rhythmically, but I just go for a delivery I can understand, whether I understand the language of the instrument or not. So it doesn't matter whether it's a guitar or a voice. If I feel it, then I'll keep that take. So being an engineer or recording or even being a producer, sometimes is about choosing the best take. If an artist lays down 4 takes, if you choose the wrong take, you might be robbing them of their big hit.
Ghana, Africa, yo. Ghana, Africa, yo. Ghana, Africa, yo. Ghana, Africa, yo.
Our people who run live the country. Our people who run live the country.
I mix a lot of material for other artists or other producers, and I can do it because the song comes to me, and to me it is a completely fresh concept. So it is very easy for me to notice the mistakes in it. If I myself have been working on a song for 1 month, I can't see the mistakes in it anymore because the whole song has become normal to me. But to fresh ears, they will notice very quickly what is wrong with it. So, and sometimes by removing that one single thing which is wrong with it, a song can just come together. So for me, mixing is the most technical aspect of all. I mean, I was a very good producer and I was a very good creator of music long before I became an even semi-competent mixing engineer. So mixing is the one which really requires the most experience. All my best material from my first 10, 15 years of work were mixed by other engineers. So I've always been grateful and fortunate to have other mixing engineers who I rely on. In Ghana, I've relied most heavily on Mr. Kwachi. Mr. Kwachi is probably the most experienced engineer in Ghana. Don Waxy has also mixed some of my material. U-Beats has mixed material in the past. Collins T, he's also a producer in Kumasi. So I always try and take my work to other engineers who will bring a fresh ear, a fresh sound to it, and try and make the song into the best that it can. Really, the process of mixing is trying to make the song sound as good as possible, and in just balancing all the levels. And then the process of mastering is taking that mix and trying to make sure it will sound good when you play it in a nightclub, it will sound good when you play it on the radio, it will sound good when you play it on a phone, it will sound good when you play it on your iPad, it will sound good when the spinners are playing it with their Tv68 stereo speakers. You know, you're trying to master it so that it will sound good no matter where you hear it. And also of increasing importance, it will be as loud as the other songs that you are going to hear being played alongside it. So, you know, sometimes we mistake mastering for just boosting, but actually if you look carefully at the frequency ranges, you will try and balance them out to get a coherent and rich sounding song. There are quite a few mastering engineers I really like in Ghana. I also myself try to never master my own work because the fresh set of ears is very important. If you have mixed something, you see, sometimes our engineers say, oh, me, I can't afford to give my work to somebody else to master. No, but you have friends who are also engineers. Anytime you mix a song, you give it to your fellow friend. So if you master 5 songs for him, he'll master 5 songs for you. It's not that he's better than you or you are better than him, but you will do a better job of mastering each other's work because you are bringing fresh ears and a fresh perspective to the song. So mastering does not have to be a matter of expense if sound engineers and producers and artists work together in a sensible way. So for instance, there are some engineers and producers who I exchange with. I master their songs, they master my songs, or I mix their songs, they mix my songs. So it's a barter. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to spend more money or less money than I was spending before. However, any of my fellow engineers, what might take me 2 weeks to mix, they can mix it in 2 days because they have a fresh perspective, they have fresh ears. It's not work, it's not something they've been hearing, they've already heard 1,000 times. They are now going to hear it for the first time. So they can do much more work in much less time than I could. So actually, by exchanging work with your fellow engineers, all of you do more work in less time. So it increases your efficiency.
Yes. Mensa. Kubalo. This beat be crazy. Man.
Oh, thanks.
We they come up for the world inside, you know.
Yeah,
I believe that.
So
I feel like they don't really know one identity. So
did they sleep?
how you go describe yourself?
I be the smell, the melanin in my aroma. The Charlie water when
I think the most important thing in an artist really is identity. What is your identity? Who are you? Because when I listen to your music, I want to know who you are. I don't want to know who your idol is or who your favorite musician is. Or I don't want to know who a rapper you like is or who a singer you like is. I want to know who you are. So for me, the most important thing in an artist is identity. I think if you want to consider art in any form as a career, you need to be realistic. Being a successful producer or being a successful sound engineer or being a successful artist is very, very, very difficult indeed. If you imagine, at any given time in Ghana, there are 50 successful musicians, very successful musicians, who are making good money, having successful careers. But there are over 2,000 doctors, there are over 5,000 lawyers, there are over 3,000 architects. If you are looking for a career and you are too lazy to be a doctor or you are too lazy to be an architect, then don't try and be a sound engineer or don't try and be an artist. Because those things require far more time and far more energy. And also very often, the amount of time it takes you to be successful might be longer. People look at medicine and say, oh, 5 years medical school or 6 years or 7 years, then before I'll go to hospital to be an intern for another 2 years before I can practice. 10 years. 10 years is a short time for a producer to find success or an artist to find success. So if you think being a sound engineer or being an artist is a shortcut to fame and money, then somebody has deceived you. Being a doctor is the shortcut to success and fame. Being an architect, those things are quick and fast and easy. So don't do this because you think it's a shortcut. Do it because you love it, and at no point during those 15 years of the wilderness will you give up, because it's what you love doing. So every opportunity to come back to it, you will come back to it. So me, that is my advice. Of course, it is very rewarding if you are successful, but your years in the wilderness, you know, you will have to deal with them on your own, and you have to be willing not to give up. If you're not going to give up, it means you might have to do 2 or 3 things simultaneously in order to earn enough money to survive and in order to earn enough money to pursue your dream. So if you're not willing to work harder than the next man, then don't pursue your dreams. Pursue someone else's dreams which have been laid out and are straightforward. You know, so me, that is my advice. If you are willing to put in the extra work, then by all means do it. But if you are doing it because you think it is easy or it's a shortcut, you will not find either happiness or success.
Yo, Ghana, it's your boy, Joseph, the only comedian with 6 pack in my armpit. Shirada, I am the fucking. So this is the mic. May the country mic. Keep watching TV68 inside the studio, Shirada.
And also won't penny. Now I'm ready to pick Joe won't feel it.
What up, it's your boy, Tony Waba.
I'm locked down right here on TV68. Won't penny. Now I'm ready to pick Joe won't feel it.